Summary of the Design Thinking Workbook. Essential Skills for Creativity and Business Growth by Dr. C.J. Meadows and Dr. Charvi Parikh, written and narrated by Janky Mind. Introduction. The Design Thinking Workbook offers a comprehensive guide and a structured framework for solving problems through innovative and creative means. Meadows and Parikh impart crucial foundational skills, essential tools, and techniques that are indispensable for effectively tackling challenges and enhancing productivity across various professional domains. Their guidance is poised to elevate the practice of design thinking for individuals at all levels of expertise, enabling them to elevate their creative prowess and bolster their efficacy in the pursuit of objectives. What common thread links Amazon, the world of improv, and Castle High School in Hawaii? The unifying factor among these three is their utilization or adoption of design thinking (DT) principles and methodologies to attain their aspirations. Within the realm of improv, techniques like story wording, where a collective story is woven one word at a time, foster team cohesion and prime the mind for exploration during the imaginative stages of DT. Castle High School, on the other hand, employed design-based thinking in a needs assessment to collaboratively enhance educational programs and elevate student accomplishment. Furthermore, an illuminating account of Amazon's journey through design thinking awaits you later in this audiobook. But what prompts the integration of design thinking into your organization, team, or personal endeavors? Your curiosity is warranted, as transitioning to a design thinking paradigm demands time and dedication. Nevertheless, the eventual outcomes justify the investment. A study conducted in 2018 unveiled that companies that embraced design-centric approaches witnessed growth rates twice as fast as their industry peers. And if this isn't alluring enough, consider this statistic: these design-focused enterprises delivered shareholder returns that were as much as 75% higher than their counterparts in the industry. Yes, that's right, a potential upsurge of 75% in returns attributed to the adoption of design thinking methodologies. Backing this up, a 2013 study by the Design Management Institute demonstrated that design-focused companies consistently outperformed the S&P index by a remarkable margin of 228% over a decade-long span. While numerous similar studies bolster this argument, you likely have already grasped the concept. This skill holds immense utility, particularly within the professional realm. While the Design Thinking Workbook primarily emphasizes the application of design thinking in business contexts, it's worth noting that this approach can also be harnessed to address personal challenges. Though the primary focus of this audiobook revolves around the corporate applications of design thinking, as you glean insights and strategies, contemplate their potential applicability in personal scenarios as well. Our journey begins with a thorough exploration of the author's design thinking methodology, followed by a deep dive into foundational skills, essential tools, and techniques that will prove invaluable as you embark on your design thinking journey. Chapter 1: The Essence of Design Thinking. Recall the setbacks encountered in your team projects, perhaps communication breakdowns or lapses in creativity. Were you truly focused on the core issue, or did you have to realign your efforts after expending considerable work? These are precisely the stumbling blocks that design thinking (DT) aims to avert. Now, what exactly constitutes DT, or design thinking? In essence, it's a human-centric approach to unraveling predicaments, meticulously devised to unearth the underlying quandary and address it through imaginative and innovative channels, all the while yielding benefits for stakeholders and fostering business expansion. Though various DT methodologies exist, Meadows and Parikh adhere to a structured six-step framework: challenge, observe, understand, envision, solve, and prototype. Initially, you delineate the challenge, the puzzle demanding resolution. Although it can prove intricate to elucidate, this stage stands as a cornerstone of the process. The intent is to evade the scenario of investing months or even years into a project, only to realize belatedly that the wrong issue had been the focal point. Subsequently, you engage in observing the individuals who potentially grapple with the quandary at hand. Here, your scrutiny is directed toward the actions, behaviors, and patterns exhibited by your intended users or clients. The third phase entails comprehending the behaviors enacted by your target audience. It delves into the motivations underlying their actions and the aspirations they strive for, sometimes encompassing outcomes they aim to sidestep. The fourth step envisions a future state or solution. Here, you conjure scenarios of desired outcomes. Are you endeavoring to simplify a user's experience or fabricate an enjoyable, tranquil ambience? How do you envision users' behaviors or experiences metamorphosing in the future, diverging from their present state? A cardinal notion to bear in mind is that nurturing an audacious concept is simpler than transforming a mediocre notion into true brilliance. Hence, dare to dream big. Penultimate to completion, the solving stage emerges. This is where creative ideation, including brainstorming, takes the forefront. It's also the juncture for pivotal design decisions, channeling ideas to bridge the chasm between the current predicament and the future you visualized earlier. The ultimate phase of the DT process entails prototyping. After selecting a solution to pursue, prototyping and experimentation ascertain its viability and alignment with user needs. Multiple iterations of prototyping might be necessary as insights accrue about users and the proposed design. Once the optimal solution is unearthed, the transition to full-scale implementation beckons. However, the process isn't invariably linear. Amidst DT ventures, iterations and backtracking could become the norm. Such occurrences are entirely natural and anticipated components of the journey. The key lies in maintaining unwavering focus and an openness to continuously inch closer to the most fitting solution. Yet, akin to most approaches, DT isn't universally suited for every situation. Anchored in a human-centered philosophy, it finds its footing when addressing problems interwoven with human factors. Hence, challenges divorced from humanity's sphere, such as storm-induced snapping of electrical wires or fence displacement due to erosion, might not benefit from DT's guidance. Nevertheless, there are instances when what appears to be a technical quandary might, upon closer examination, reveal human intricacies, or vice versa. DT's methodological aptitude for dissecting predicaments and ferreting out their root causes can steer you toward discerning the problem's nature. For instance, consider the case of a new manager inundated with grievances about the sluggishness of the elevators in a 30-story edifice. Is this quandary primarily of a human nature or a technical one? Ponder this for a moment. We'll revisit the elevator conundrum shortly. But first, let's delve into acquiring the fundamental skills indispensable for embarking on a design thinking journey. Rest assured, we will return to unravel the elevator enigma in due course. Chapter 2: Fundamental Proficiencies. Would you believe that you likely possess knowledge of and might even apply certain foundational skills inherent in DT? These competencies encompass empathy, observation, active listening, and critical thinking. Additionally, they embrace insight, creativity, collaboration, and the art of storytelling. Do these ring a bell? Let's delve deeper into some of these pivotal proficiencies. Empathy, a cornerstone, is your ability to understand and share the emotions of others. Yet, did you know that empathy encompasses various dimensions? Cognitive, emotional, and active empathy are the distinct facets identified by Meadows and Parikh. Cognitive empathy entails apprehending another's viewpoint. Emotional empathy is the type we commonly associate with empathy, the capacity to experience others' sentiments. Active empathy manifests through actions that benefit others. To exercise empathy, deliberately seek to comprehend others' perspectives and emotions. Engage in conversations about their roles in a project or the rationale behind their tasks. Strive to grasp their thoughts, aspirations, motivations, and sentiments. Reflect on how you might feel if placed in their shoes. Initially, this process might feel awkward, reminders might be necessary. However, over time, empathizing with others will naturally integrate into your approach. Another vital foundational DT skill, intimately linked to empathy, is listening. Now, you might counter, "I already know how to listen." True, you might indeed possess listening skills, but this serves as a gentle reminder. Many individuals assume they are listening, when in reality, they are merely hearing. So, what sets listening apart from hearing? Hearing involves the ear's physiological reception of sounds in the environment. Listening, however, is a focused endeavor, directed at comprehending the underlying message within sounds. Consider this: when you play background music while working, are you actively listening to the music's message, or are you merely acknowledging the sound while concentrating on your tasks? Now, think about attending a concert. Are you merely hearing the music as ambient noise, or are you genuinely engaging, feeling the emotional essence resonating from the words and melodies? For design thinking to thrive, you must nurture the skill of attentive listening, transcending mere hearing. As you converse with stakeholders or engage in discussions with peers, channel your concentration into their words and the messages they convey. Refrain from prematurely formulating your response in your mind. Dedicate yourself to comprehending their intended meaning and the essence of their communication. Don't neglect tone of voice, the exclamation "oh" in response to your product could be laden with excitement, disappointment, or even perplexity. Such nuances are of paramount significance. Now, have you momentarily set aside the enigma of the sluggish elevators? Worry not, we shall revisit this issue shortly. Chapter 3: Tools and Methodologies. With a 6-step framework and 8 foundational skills at play, can you guess the number of tools and techniques involved? Remarkably, Meadows and Parikh encompass nearly 30. While an in-depth coverage of all is beyond the scope of this audiobook, let's delve into a select few. Are you familiar with the concept of the 5 whys? This technique is particularly adept at discerning whether the right problem is under scrutiny, an essential aspect of addressing any challenge. After all, if the initial problem isn't accurately identified, resolution remains elusive. So, how do the 5 whys operate? Since this technique involves a tactile component, gather post-it notes and writing tools, and assemble your team in one setting. Start by collectively agreeing on a problem statement. For instance, let's assume the problem statement revolves around an associate injuring their thumb. Jot down this statement on a post-it and affix it to your designated workspace, a wall, or whiteboard. Subsequently, draw a downward arrow beneath the note and collaboratively explore the why behind the problem. Capture all the team's thoughts on separate post-its and position them beneath the original note. Upon deliberation, select the most plausible answer. This becomes the level 2 problem. Continuing with our example, the associate's thumb might have been injured due to getting caught in a conveyor belt. Repeat this process by adding an arrow beneath the level 2 problem note, generating potential answers, and subsequently settling on the most fitting response. Continue until the underlying root cause surfaces. Typically, this emerges after approximately 5 rounds of questioning. However, this count can vary. It's a flexible approach, and you can delve deeper if required to unveil the root cause. Returning to our example, let's break it down. 1. Associate injured their thumb. 2. Why was the thumb hurt? Because it got caught in a conveyor belt. 3. Why did it get caught? Because the associate tried to retrieve their bag from the moving belt. 4. Why retrieve the bag? Because the bag was set on the belt, and it unexpectedly started moving. 5. Why place the bag on the belt? To use it as a makeshift table. Here, we've unraveled the crux of the problem. The associate required a nearby surface for placing items. Does this example appear somewhat arbitrary? In fact, it's a real-life manifestation of the 5 Whys methodology. The incident transpired at an Amazon fulfillment center in 2004. Jeff Bezos, the company's founder and CEO, employed the 5 Whys to unearth the root cause and engineer a simple remedy, placing a table near the conveyor to preclude future safety mishaps of a similar nature. Another powerful DT technique is HMW, how might we? This approach facilitates idea generation akin to brainstorming but steers focus toward responding to questions that begin with how might we? For instance, how might we make toothbrushing engaging for teenagers? Framing questions with the HMW construct sparks curiosity and ideation, aiding in the development of a diverse array of concepts critical for fruitful brainstorming. A third technique in the DT arsenal is Scamper, an acronym that propels teams to explore existing products or solutions for elements that could be substituted, combined, adapted, modified/magnified/minimized, put to another use, eliminated, or reversed/rearranged. This methodology fosters creativity in identifying innovative solutions. These techniques illustrate the multifaceted toolkit employed in design thinking, showcasing its adaptability and effectiveness in approaching multifarious challenges. Summary. Let's circle back to the intriguing case of the sluggish elevators. Was the quandary rooted in technical mechanics or driven by human factors? And how did the astute manager navigate this puzzle? In the quest to resolve this dilemma, the manager embarked on observing how individuals interacted with the elevators. He discovered that people were discontented with waiting in the lobby for the elevators to arrive, but their dissatisfaction dissipated once they were inside the elevators. Consequently, the crux of the matter lay in the frustration experienced during the lobby waiting period. As a potential solution, the manager ingeniously adorned the elevator lobby with several inexpensive, full-length mirrors situated beside the elevator doors. The outcome? Individuals derived such satisfaction from last-minute appearance checks of their attire, hair, and faces that the duration of their wait ceased to concern them. Ultimately, the issue of slow elevators unveiled itself as a human-centric predicament, distinctly removed from mechanical intricacies. The manager tackled the challenge through ingenious design thinking techniques, resulting in a resolution that resonated with users on a personal level. An undoubtedly gratifying conclusion. Naturally, the scope of Meadows and Parikh's workbook encompasses far more than we've covered here. However, you've gained insight into the 6 pivotal steps of their DT methodology: challenge, observe, understand, envision, solve, and prototype. Furthermore, you've delved into the triad of empathy aspects: cognitive, emotional, and active. Plus, you've revisited the distinction between hearing and listening, passive reception versus intentional engagement. The final segment introduced you to the 5 Whys, HMWs, and Scamper techniques. Armed with this foundational understanding, you're poised to embark on applying the design thinking approach to surmounting challenges. And remember, if you're eager to delve deeper into additional skills, tools, and techniques, you're well informed about where to seek further guidance. This audiobook summary was brought to you by Janky Mind. We hope you enjoyed it.